Salve, salve galera, e aí, como é que vocês estão? Vocês estão bom? No vídeo de hoje vamos reagir a 10 tênis da marca ADIDAS. Calculo que no Brasil nem tem esses modelos ainda. 10 sneakers, 10 tênis da ADIDAS, modelo 2024. Espero que vocês gostem. Me diz aí nos comentários qual que você mais gostou. Bora pro vídeo.
Last year's list had me super impressed with how a lot of Adidas' best sneakers were also super affordable. And this year might be even better. So today I'm going over the top 10 best Adidas
Tem
sneakers
uns modelos bem loucos assim, bem diferenciados aí.
Fear of God and Adidas Basketball 1 model. So these retail at $250 and are the most expensive on today's list. And typically hyped up collaborations like this wouldn't be on the list because they're never really available, but these are. Now I know that the Fear of God and Adidas partnership has got a lot of pros and cons in terms of the overall collection. One thing that I think Fear of God and Adidas really nailed was the sneakers. And this one is kind of like the flagship sneaker for the entire collaboration. They're very well made. It's a solid pair of shoes. You immediately feel the quality of these shoes as soon as you get them in hand. And even before that, the entire unboxing experience is pretty incredible. I feel like the design of these things are pretty much the perfect balance between Fear of God and Adidas. It's just so obvious with the DNA. I feel like they also nailed the perfect blend between a performance basketball shoe and a lifestyle one.
Transparente, né? Da hora.
Most people are going to be wearing these for lifestyle use. Now, the main downside to this pair of shoes is, yes, the retail price, that is pretty hefty, but also the fact that because this is relatively a new pair of sneakers for 2024, there's not that many colorways to choose from. Nevertheless, you can find a lot of the colorways that have released at different retailers that are stocking them, or potentially you could even find these things for under that retail price on the aftermarket. A solid pair of sneakers and definitely deserves a place on this list. Coming in at number 9, the Adidas Rivalry 86. The funny thing about this pair of sneakers is how close it is to one of my favorite sneakers from last year, the Forum Low. Even though both of these sneakers are really good.
Esse é mais simplão, né? Mas é legalzinho também, da hora.
Rivalry 86.
Meio retrô esse daí,
I prefer the
modelo
look
retrô.
and shape of these things just marginally over the Forums, and I do actually prefer the fact that these don't come with a strap. These retail anywhere between $100 and $120, and what you're getting for that price is actually pretty astounding, especially when you compare it to other options on the market from different brands. These things come with great materials, they feel very well made, and it also has a plethora of different colorways and options to choose from. If you're someone who has money burning a hole in their pocket and you want a more expensive option, I also think that some of the collaborations on this model were also really solid. Y3 made an incredibly good looking pair, and also Fear of God's one is also pretty sick. Nevertheless, overall, this is a great daily sneaker and a solid option to have, especially with the amount of choices of colorways and options that you get. It's definitely one of the best sneakers that Adidas is making right now. Coming in at number 8 is the Adidas ZN Chill Light Motion Plus. Now this sneaker is really affordable. I mean, retail price is $100, and typically you can find it for way less than that. And I actually think at these prices, this is such an insane pair of shoes to pick up. It actually made my top 10 list for the best overall under $100 pair of shoes because it's so incredibly comfortable and just such a great
macio, pelo visto é bem macio, dá pra ver que é bem
macio. The midsole that Adidas put on these things is so soft and squishy and just feels insane walking around on it. And typically a lot of other brands, especially for a sneaker at this price point, would just throw some kind of regular midsole on it that doesn't feel that great. But for some reason, Adidas decided to put something incredibly comfortable on these things, and I'm happy for it. Now, it is nothing crazy in terms of the amazing quality of materials that you get on here, but it does have a simple and clean look. I think it's a great pair of sneakers to pick up to wear on a daily basis, or going to the gym, or maybe even doing some running. This is hands down one of the best bang for your buck type sneaker. It's super affordable, insanely comfortable, and I think if you're looking for something like that, this is one of the best options. The only downside to it is that there's not too many variations in terms of colorways. All of them are
mais alto em 5 centímetros aí, né?
7, the Adidas Explore Phase. This is kind of a dual number 7 spot because there's two variations of this sneaker, the Explore Phase, the cheaper option, or the Explore Boost, which is almost double the price.
Esse daqui é da hora também, esse pretão aí, né? Show de bola.
So they kind of both deserve to be on this list. So the Explore Boost is the more premium option that has full length boost in the midsole. However, the Explore Phase option is a hybrid midsole which has Adidas bounce.
Gosto muito também tênis de basquete. Os tênis de basquete são bem legais, né, cara? Os modelos deles são bem da hora, assim, né? Meio futurista, né? Muito louco esse boot de basquete.
boost version.
Os
So
looks de
honestly, if I
basquete
was
são
on a
muito loucos,
budget and I
né?
had to pick between the two, I would just take the Explore Phase 1. However, if you did want a little bit of an upgrade in terms of the materials and quality, the more premium one can often be found on sale, so that's a great option too. They both look practically identical, come in a plethora of really solid colorways, and I think the one thing I really like about this pair of shoes is how much it reminds me of like the original Ultra Boost. Not just in the way that it looks, but also how it feels on foot. I almost feel like this pair of shoes should have been a different version of the Ultra Boost in some kind of alternate universe. However, as we know, Adidas decided to go with the more performance running route with the Ultra Boost model. This is like the lifestyle alternative. It's a great daily option, comfortable, looks really good, and if you're someone who liked any of the Adidas Ultra Boost models, I think you're gonna really like these too. Coming in at number 6, the Adidas Response CL. This is actually one of the most popular retro runner models. However, these cost about $110, which is a significantly better price than some other stuff from other brands that you're looking at on the market. And what you're getting for that price point is pretty incredible because these feel pretty premium in hand. They got really solid materials with a mesh-based upper that has like these suede overlays which feel really good in hand. I also think that it's a really good-looking model. It almost reminds
Mais
me
ou
of
menos
the
isso aqui
Nike
também, né?
Vomero 5 in terms of its design.
Mais
I
ou
think some of
menos.
these
Solado é
colorways
muito
are gonna
louco,
be
né?
a perfect
Mas
option for
não
the
gostei
summertime,
muito.
so I think
Tá
it's
vendo outras
definitely
cores,
worth
né? Outras opções de
consideration.
cores
Coming
aí
in at
fica
number
mais da hora.
5,
Um
we've
pretão
got the
ali, pá.
notorious Adidas Samba. Look, if you've been hanging around on the channel for a while now, you know that I'm not the biggest fan of the Adidas Samba. That's mainly for personal reasons. It just doesn't really go with my type of style. However, of course, I can't be biased with this list, so I definitely think that this sneaker deserves a spot.
Pô, esse
I'm
aqui é
not putting
clássico
it
também,
here
esse
just because it's one
Isso
of the
aqui
most popular sneakers on the
já vi
planet
já.
right now. I'm
Bem
putting it
clássico
here
esse aqui.
because it's a
Da
very
horinha.
compelling
Ele é bem
option
baixinho,
for
né?
$100. This is one of the most popular sneakers for a reason, and I actually think it does have a lot of good merit. And I don't actually think people are completely wrong when they compare this sneaker to the Nike Panda Dunk. While they look completely different and are very different shoes, practically speaking, these are both accessible, affordable, and good-looking options if you're going for a simple, clean look. The biggest separating factor between the two, in my opinion, is the quality. I mean, it almost seems night and day. The Adidas Samba has pretty nice feeling leather material. It even has a leather sock liner, whereas using the word
Soladão
leather
deles
to
que é
describe
da
the
hora, né?
Nike
Tipo uma
Dunk
Tex
seems
assim,
like
você
a
aguenta
fallacy.
pra
It's just
caramba.
a
Esse boot aí
plastic
não derrapa,
grease
né? Da
magnet.
hora.
I want to be clear, this
Dá até pra
sneaker
dar rolê
didn't
de
earn a
skate com
place
esse
on the
boot
list
aí.
because it's an insanely comfortable, amazing option. It is a retro sneaker that has an insanely thin midsole, so it's not going to be anything incredible in terms of cushioning. However, if you're someone that likes a really low profile flat pair of shoes, this could be a great option. It is mainly super popular because of the style of it, so if it's a pair of shoes that you like the look of, think that it works great with your personal style, I think it's one of the
Da
best
hora,
options
hein?
out. Coming in at number 4 happens to be one of my personal favorites, is the Adidas Adistar Cushion. Now, this is also actually another pair that landed up on my top 10 under $100 list, and in my opinion, this is almost the perfect retro runner sneaker. I happen to really like the way that it looks. I think it's the best looking out. But the great part about this sneaker is that Adidas really did put comfort first. Like, the midsole is super soft and squishy, the upper feels really nice, something that you would be used to with a lot of these retro runners. They are just
Esse aqui
generally
não curti
speaking
não, muito
very
enfeitado,
comfortable
tá ligado?
sneakers. The padding on the upper feels incredible walking around in, and the quality is pretty decent for the price tag. You can find these things again
E
for
você,
sometimes
gostou de algum?
under
E você
$100
gostou de
or
algum?
around that
Curtiu
price
esse
point.
aqui? Me
And
diz nos
there's a
comentários aí se
decent
você
amount of
gosta.
colorways and different options. I bought 2 different colorways of these things. I really like them, and I think it's a solid option for 2024. A couple honorable mentions that I thought should be included in this list. However, most of them are 2023 sneakers, so, you know, I wanted to keep this list fresh. We got the Adidas Campus 00, a big retro skate style shoe, super nicely padded on the upper, a bunch of different colorways. I think these things look really cool. Still a great option here in 2024. The Adidas Adi 2000, which is kind of a little bit of a low-key, potentially even underrated sneaker, but I think these things look incredible on foot.
Esse
A pair
aqui
that
tá
made
mais
it to
pra
my
skate
2023
mesmo,
list,
esse
and I
daqui, né?
think
Meio
it's still
b-boy,
a
né?
great option here in 2024. And finally, the
Porra,
Ultimate
esse aqui é
Switch has
louco,
been
hein?
one of Adidas's most popular
Nossa.
models for, I mean, ever since
Essa
it released
biqueira
in
dele aí, ó.
2015.
Show
Still
de
a
bola.
great option, incredibly comfortable. However, a lot of them do come in at a more premium price tag, so if you're fine with that,
Bom pra carpilote esse aqui, hein, cara.
infinite amount of different models and styles that you can go
Esse
for. Still a
aqui,
great
pô,
option
deve
for
ser bem
2024.
confortável mesmo pra
I
corrida,
still wear
né?
my Ultra Boost on a very regular basis. Getting into the top 3, first up we have the Adidas Fear of God LA Runner. I'm actually genuinely surprised at this pair of shoes. I didn't really think it was going to be anything special. In fact, I checked out pretty much every single other sneaker from this collaboration, and almost didn't even buy these things. But when I finally got them in, again, they took me back. They are a solid sneaker.
Pô, que legal esse aqui até.
Most affordable
Gostei
option
da
that you
cor,
can
pá,
get
da hora,
from this
hein?
collaboration, coming in at $170. But I actually think that that's a reasonable price tag
Só lá dando tratorado, esse aqui não deve derrapar, né? Bom pra... Esse também é bom pra carpilote.
Very well done remake on an Adidas classic, and I feel like the entire Adidas Fear of God collection collaboration has been kind of hit or miss. In my opinion, it's a miss with the clothing and a hit with the sneakers, mainly because of the price tag of the clothing. Like seriously, you could buy a Fear of God Adidas pair of shorts, or you could buy an entire...
Os tênis ficou muito frágil, né, cara? Os tênis de hoje é tipo só um paninho, só não é um... Retiraram o reforço e colocaram só um paninho agora, né, cara? Tipo uma meia com solado, né? Paninho, tudo de pano. Fica mais leve e tal, respira mais o pé, mas dura menos também, né? Conforme você pega e pisa nele assim, ele vai detonando dos lados, assim, né?
Coming in at number 2 is the Adidas Climacool 3.0. Little disclaimer, these haven't fully released globally just yet. They've released out in Asia, however, are only going to be dropping here in the EU.
Tênis pra você passear, né? Você passa numa bituca de cigarro já pegou até furar.
Did like them, but it's kind of perfect timing for the summer because fun fact, this is literally the most breathable Climacool sneaker ever made. If you like
esse aqui é da hora, hein?
During the summertime, this is
mais louco,
literally
achei.
going to be the best option. Now, what I personally found way more interesting about this pair of shoes is a little combination of the design and the comfort. I mean, if a sneaker nails both of those things, it's probably going to be a solid pair. I think the design is really cool. It kind of blends, you know, retro runners with something a little bit more futuristic. Maybe even has some Balenciaga vibes in there. And then what you're getting in terms of comfort is an incredible midsole that is full-length boost. However, this boost is encased with an extremely soft foam, which again just feels incredible underfoot. This pair of shoes made my top 10 most comfortable sneakers that you can possibly buy, so yes, they are extremely comfortable. I highly recommend at least trying them out when they do drop. It's a solid pair of sneakers that
dá pra ver que o bicho, né, amortece mesmo, né, cara?
Coming in at number 1 to not that much surprise, the Adidas AE1. What's crazy is that this is one of the most popular sneakers right now, and it's not a super hyped up collaboration or anything like that. In fact, it's just a signature basketball sneaker. So when you kind of look a little bit closer to find out why this sneaker is
caralho, isso aqui é foda, agora arregaçou mesmo.
Actual merit of the pair of shoes.
Caralho, esse aqui é chave, hein, cara?
Coming in at $110. You can't even
olha que louco.
$100.
Esse aqui é louco, hein?
Solid design that looks crazy futuristic. It's very well made.
Pô, imagina o brancão desse aí, né, cara? Com esse detalhe onde tá verde fazer branco, né?
Which is almost unheard of at this price point, so it's incredibly comfortable. There is just so many pros to this pair of shoes, and if you haven't tried them out, again, I highly recommend it, even though it might be a little bit more tough to get your hands on, because every time Adidas drops a new colorway, they fly off shelves. You put the work in, you definitely can find some of the colorways sitting in different retailers, so I definitely think it's worth checking that out, but Adidas is going to be dropping plenty of colorways this year, so I definitely recommend, you know, keeping this one on your radar for 2024. Guys, this list has something for everyone with the best that Adidas has to offer here in 2020.
Isso aí, galera. O vídeo de hoje foi esse. Qual deles você mais gostou? Eu gostei do último. Achei muito da hora. E você, qual que você gostou? Me diz aí nos comentários se você gostou de algum. Já curte nosso canal, já segue e comenta aí qual que você mais gostou. Até a próxima. Valeu!